Well, I honestly don't know who runs faster to try to down a strong, intelligent, powerful.
So here's a response to a stitch that was done of my video dealing with Jasmine Crockett running for U.S. Senate. So the first point that he made in his video is he basically accused me of being a misogynist. And here's my response. The mere fact that I don't support Jasmine Crockett's run for U.S. Senate does not make me a misogynist. The mere fact that I pointed out the obstacles that she would face running in a racist and sexist state such as Texas does not make me a misogynist. And what that is a shameless attempt to pander to women viewers. It is an attempt to shame people into voting for somebody simply because of their identity, simply because they're black, simply because they're a woman. And for me, it's not about identity politics. It's about your positions on the issues. It's about your track record of a success and accomplishment. Those are the two things that are very important to me. And her position on the situation in Gaza is simply wrong. There is a genocide going on in Gaza. Tens of thousands of innocent women, children, and men have been unalived in Gaza. People have been deprived of food, water, and medicine in Gaza. Human rights violations are occurring in Gaza despite this so called ceasefire that's been in place. But yet and still, you have people like Jasmine Crockett who continue to support Israel, who continue to vote in favor of sending billions of U.S. taxpayer dollars over to a state that is committing genocide. They continue, people like Jasmine Crockett continue to vote to provide military assistance to a state that is committing genocide against innocent people. And to me, that's unconscionable. To me, that's enough alone for me not to support a candidate for office. It's about the positions on the issues, not about the identity of the person running for office. The other thing is this, man. You talked about how I don't speak out against Donald Trump's positions on Gaza or on other things, and I'm just focused on Jasmine Crockett's position. And that's just complete nonsense. Anyone that takes a moment to look at my page, they will see that I have dozens upon dozens of videos that are highly critical of the Trump administration, of MAGA, of Republicans. They will see that. They will see this was well before Jasmine Crockett decided to run for the U.S. Senate. So miss me with the deflection, miss me with the distraction. That won't work when it comes to me. The other thing that you mentioned is that I'm only bringing up this issue of Gaza because I oppose Jasmine Crockett, which is a crock of crap. Because anybody that looks at my page again, they would see that I have plenty of videos talking about the situation in Gaza well before Jasmine Crockett decided to run for office. If you simply did your basic homework before you ran up on TikTok to create a video, you would have realized this. The other thing is, I pointed out how accomplishments are important to me. And my question for you is what is Jasmine Crockett's accomplishment as a member of Congress? What are her accomplishments? I'm not talking about, her clapbacks. I'm not talking about, some viral videos that she's done on social media. I'm not talking about all the interviews that she's had. I'm talking about what laws that she helped pass. From what I understand, this woman introduced hundreds upon hundreds of, bills and stuff to be passed. and only like 10 of her bills got passed. That is not a track record of accomplishment. And when somebody goes to the next level, you would think it's like a promotion for a job. If someone gets a promotion, usually it's because of accomplishment. It's not because of clapbacks and stuff like that. We have, unfortunately, people don't know how to measure or evaluate leadership. You know, they don't measure it on things that actually matter, like actual tangibles. The other thing is this: you mentioned that I lack the qualities to fight the opposition, and that's just ridiculous. When my whole page is about fighting the opposition, when my whole life has been about fighting the opposition, from my days as a student activist to my days as a civil rights attorney, my life has been about fighting the opposition. So you just didn't do your homework or your research before you ran up on social media trying to pander to people and get views and a few coins. The other thing is this, man. You mentioned that we need to be just focused on the issues right here in America, the issues that affect us right here and right now. And I understand the importance of addressing the issues that affect us here in America, and that's what my life has been about, dealing with the issues that impact us here in America. But I'm also concerned about what happens abroad because those issues impact us as well. We saw what happened when it came to 9/11. That is a prime example of how American foreign policy affected us here at home. American foreign policy affects us at home when we decide to travel. It affects us when billions upon billions of our tax dollars are going to fund a foreign power, funds that could have been used to build our schools, funds that could have been used to feed the hungry and house the homeless, funds that could be used for all kinds of improvement, you know, building the infrastructure in America. But instead, those funds go to a foreign power that's committing genocide. And it's a shame that we got all these people that just can't connect the dots. They can't see the connection. So yeah, that's my response to that video, man. It's next time do your homework before you run up on social media trying to pander to people. And so there's one final point that I wanted to make, and that goes back to the obstacles that Jasmine Crockett would face if she ran for office. I mean, the fact of the matter is, as I pointed out in my original video, Texas is a Republican stronghold. It is not a purple state by any stretch of the imagination. The state legislature is dominated by Republicans. The governor is a Republican. Both of the senators are Republican. Texas has not elected a Democrat for statewide office for the past 30 years. 30 years. So, just merely as a Democrat alone, she faces great obstacles. But yet and still, y'all want to ignore that reality. And when somebody points out that reality, you want to shame them and, you know, call them names. And it just shows you how weak your position is.